Hey guys.
Hello! We're live! We exist.
Yep.
It's been a long month. So
Mm.
I yeah, my Hunter's Kickstarter was just overwhelming and I wasn't able to write or do anything. It was just like constant. And so it ended. And when it ended, I did one of those like I am not going social. I like disappeared from social media for
Yeah,
about a week,
that's totally fair.
which was like last. So Um, and I've been kind of bouncing around with a lot of books, so I didn't actually finish an entire book this month,
It's
but
alright.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine
So
were
I've been
just
watching some of
rereads,
those.
so.
It's all right.
Mm.
So school's out though, because last we checked, it wasn't
Thank
quite out
God.
yet. On our last second. Yeah. Uh, I bet you're happy school's out.
Uh huh. Like, so thankful.
Yeah, so thankful.
Like,
Especially toward the end of the year when the kids start getting active, like crazy,
mm-hmm.
excited for summer stuff.
You can only spend so much of your life around middle schoolers before, like, you start to question your own sanity. So, like,
That's kind of funny. Sad and funny
yeah.
at the same time.
And even
Oh,
though we don't get paid for our summertime, like, I still am so thankful for it because I'm just like they give us the option to like divide our check out for 12 months, but we're only paid for so many days out of the year. And so it's like
oh, so
we
that would
get a
stretch
paycheck
things
in the
pretty
summer, but
thin.
we don't get paid for being at home. Like we're not paid on
Yeah,
for our summertime hours or like anything that we do for the school next school year like during the summer that's not paid for. Like we don't get paid for that
yeah,
kind of stuff as like it's not like overtime or anything like that. And it's like
that makes sense.
so it's like there's ups and downs to it, but I'm like so incredibly thankful for summertime. And I know
I
parents
bet.
are like, I'm gonna go crazy, and I'm just like, tag, you're it.
Welcome to my life, raising your kids at school.
Tag, you're it.
That's funny. Yeah, I I actually had two editing clients back in March, and that's business income. And so this year I have to make a profit, so all expenses for any of my books have to come out of my business
Mm,
expenses. So like Michael can't pay for anything this year because I have to show positive. And so I've been making the check that I got from my two editing clients from March last, and I just now ran down where I'm like $8 left, like no
mm.
joke. Starting to get stressed because I had that as kind of not really a buffer, but I was like, it'll be fine. But like, I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, now I understand how everybody else feels having to stretch checks out for whatever long, no checks because
That's funny.
it was like painful still.
Yeah.
So
How do your client stuff work? Do like you contact them when you want a book, or do they contact you, or like can you contact them if you
I
need to?
usually I'm old school, so I look for people on Facebook, and I found a couple of them. And one of them, he's actually running a Kickstarter for his book, and
Mm.
he had like I usually just work so you don't have to acknowledge me because the rights are yours, and it's if you don't fix your book, that's fine. I'm just giving you the suggestions.
Uh huh.
But I've accidentally stumbled on his book in Kickstarter when I was browsing for other stuff. I'm like, I edited that, and I'm
Oh,
so
sweet.
proud because it's like the cover has like the characters on there, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just this cute little. And so I was really excited about
Oh,
that.
sweet.
Um, yeah, so like I used to work for a publishing company that just had like all their things are is like they would like find the authors and they would send those books to
Yeah.
their editors, and I was just one of their editors for a while, so like she
Gotcha.
did it all. So like
Mm-hmm.
I know the authors, but the authors don't know me, so there's a lot of just books floating around out there that I've
Yeah.
edited that like there's no credit. But lately it's just been Facebook. If I
Oh,
find
okay.
somebody who needs an editor, I'll be like, hey, I'm open, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
and
No,
then
that
we
makes
just pay
sense.
through PayPal. So, yeah. But I usually try to, like, if I know, like, I'm editing Warrior, like, last, like, focused on Warrior, like, okay, I'm not open. That's why I think April was when I was like, I can't do any more editing clients because I got to focus on myself,
Yeah.
for the Kickstarters or whatever.
Yeah.
But
No, that makes sense.
reading, though, I actually signed up to be an ARC reader for my good friend and my editor, H.A. Pruitt.
Sweet.
And she's got this book called Dolores and Zipporah. She is an artist, so she's designing her own cover for it, and she doesn't have the cover done. We're going to get to see it first because we're on our ARC team and hype team, but I can't show it to the public. I don't think I even have it, but if I did, I couldn't show the public anyway until after her cover reveal. So all I have is the title page, but that's fine.
Mm.
But she designed her own font, so like all of this font is her handwriting, and
Oh,
she
sweet.
designed it herself. And so
Mm.
Dolores and Zipporah, and then is the book, and I'm so excited. and she has a lot of like over, I think over 50 illustrations and sketches that is going to go in the final version, because she just got so inspired she couldn't stop designing things for this book, and I'm like, I can't wait. So anytime, because she's my friend, I'm like, hey, do you have a sketch for this character? And she'll send them over to me and let me see them
Oh,
all, because
sweet.
I'm like, her friend. But yeah, so it's a Christian fantasy. She doesn't define it as a romance, but I feel like there's a romance in there.
Yeah.
And like, she doesn't say this, but in my opinion as a reader, it feels like a forbidden love trope to me.
Okay.
But it's so good, which is my favorite. So
Mm-hmm.
you have elves, and then the witches have been like wiped out years ago, and the elves hate the witches, and they're dangerous and they're considered evil. And basically, Aloris and Zipporah is a witch and Aloris is an elf, and they become friends, and they hang
Oh,
out in
okay.
this like meadow near his home, and they play games and imagine together as kids.
Yeah.
And they grow up, and so as he gets older, the stigma of witches kind of comes into play, and now there's all kinds of drama and
Mm-hmm.
danger with like the guardsmen, and they're looking for this clan of witches that survived, which is Zipporah's family. And it's
Gotcha.
like a lot of intense. I've bawled my eyes out at least twice. I've got teary eyed a couple of times, and um, there's been several speeches that have really got me. And it deal like the themes underneath it all is like imagination and how powerful it is, and like
Yeah.
Loris using it as an escape.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of hits close to home, because I'm like, this feels like my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is my childhood. Um, Especially like when he got, I think it was when his 12, because we jump in stages, and like at one point when he was 12, he was like, he saw some of the other boys in his class, like in his age group, because they have like a medieval style school type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were making fun of the younger kids for like playing games and imagining, and he started to have that doubt of like, am I too old for this? Do I need to put this away? It's time to grow up and be a man, kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. And I was like, oh god, that hits me hard, because I remember feeling like
Yeah.
I'm a freak, too old, like you
Mm-hmm.
can't keep imagining like this. And like now looking back, it's like all because I was just meant to, like, a passion for storytelling and stuff, and meant to be a writer. But like, it's just
Mm-hmm.
so good.
Oh yeah.
And she also did like the audio recordings of it on her. It's not an audiobook per se, because she's just reading it herself, but she does the voices and the accents so well, and I wish everybody could hear it and experience it like we're getting to. And so I'll comment on like every video, because she does the guy voices so well. Like, even she joked that her husband was like, you do the dad's voice like strangely good. And I'm like, yeah, you really do. So that's been really fun. So that's
That's
Aloris and
awesome.
Zipporah, and that, yeah, that was like the latter half of May, and this will probably be like couple for like till I finish it. So it'll be the first couple weeks in June, because I'm
Yeah.
reading one or two chapters every night.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
yeah,
So I know you and I have talked about this privately, but I went ahead and took like a pause on rereading Throne of Glass, just because my heart really wasn't in it at all, and I was like, when I decided I was gonna reread the entire like all of her books, I was kind of hoping that it would start with Akatar, and it started with Throne of Glass, and I had just finished reading Throne of Glass like the year prior, like it was the last year, the
yeah,
year before, and so it's like I just really wasn't wanting to reread that one, but I kind of give it a go, and I just mainly was listening to audiobooks because that was what was getting me through them. And like I was getting into the ones like the latter books where I have more issues with things, and it's like in order to for me to really appreciate those books, I need to like step away from them for a bit. And so I'm
yeah,
gonna go ahead and reread Akatar, and so I went ahead and um, started that a little bit this afternoon. I didn't get very far in it, but that was what I just started. But this past month, I did read a couple. It was Air of Fire and Assassin's Blade were the two that I read in May. Um, but like along with that, I've been reading this book too. So it's kind of like this is the like my main one because I was like kind of paused for a while, and this was the one I was reading for a while. Um,
yeah,
but it's like space sci-fi type thing. As of right now, it's not really there's no real romance at all in it so far. There's a little like a
uh-huh.
touch of it at the beginning, um, but it's definitely science fiction. I don't know if you'd call it fantasy, but it's like aliens and stuff, so I would say it's probably science fiction. But
Probably science fiction. Yeah.
yeah, but it's really good so far, and it's like
That's good.
um, there's a couple
I remember you
new
telling me a little
plot
bit about
twisty
it, but I
type
couldn't
things.
remember.
Yeah, so
Yeah, you said, was this the one with the beginning where you said it like
yeah,
the beginning surprised you?
yes,
Like, yeah.
yeah, because it essentially takes place. It's like a future Earth type thing where they've colonized lots of other planets. There's like people that live on like Venus and Mars and different planets, and there's like space travel and stuff, and like
Right.
living on Earth is now considered to be like the elites, the high society
Oh,
people
okay.
live on Earth. And so um, there was like this signal that it's like they were kind of exploring new planets, and there's just one planet that they were on. There was like a signal being broadcasted out, and so she goes and checks on it and something like discovers something, and it kind of spirals from there, and it's just like, and it gets really into it and
That's
stuff,
really cool.
and it's pretty good so far. Like there was a plot twisty thing that I read earlier today, while I was taking my grandma to her treatments, in
Mm-hmm.
Jeff. I was sitting and reading for a while, and there are some other things that were revealed, but um, it's going really.
Really
I was
cool.
really good. I like it. I'm about halfway through, roughly halfway through. So hopefully I finish that because there's a few books that I bought here recently that I want to start reading. Um, so that's the
Yeah,
plan.
that makes sense.
Anyway, so
That sounds like a really good plan.
yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. So speaking of sci-fi, I got on a Kickstarter kick, which is kind of funny, but and I ended up like I would either they were for book 2 or 3 or the Kindle was cheaper, so essentially I would go on Amazon and buy the books that way. I
Mm-hmm.
did support a lot of Kickstarters. I did a whole video about this on my YouTube channel because it was fun to talk about indie books that I'm supporting. But there is this so long story short, I swapped with this girl, and the banner had a bunch of guys on the cover. And usually with Kickstarters, if there's a bunch of guys, it's a why choose romance. So I dismissed it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to scroll down and give this a chance and see what it's about. And I just wanted to scroll through the story out of curiosity. And actually, it was a series of romances that were standalone romances, and each guy, like each book was about a different guy. And the banner was like the first art that she
Oh,
had of
okay.
like all the guys standing together because they're like on a team.
Oh,
It's like a
okay.
sci-fi thing. And I was like, oh, it's not a why choose romance. I'm kind of interested. And the whole thing is like I can't tell much about the world building yet, but they're really like sci-fi. And the guys are like clones, and they're kind of like second-rate citizens where they're designed to serve and protect, but they're
Mm-hmm.
seen as like awful, and they're treated awful, but like they're programmed to think that they're just here to serve. They're kind of like slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like it intrigued me so much. And so the first book is called Exiles on Earth. Let me see if I can pull up the cover here. All these books that I've been reading lately are on my Kindle, so it makes things a little difficult because I can't hold up a physical book. But it's called Exiles on Earth, is book one by Bia Tama.
Mm-hmm.
And like it literally starts off with this poor man's execution. And I was like hooked right away. And this was the one of the first books that I started reading back in May, and I DNF'd it. Like it's a not DNF permanently. It's just like I got out of the mood for a sci-fi. I'm like I'm
Yeah.
not feeling sci-fi right now, and so I'm gonna have to come back to it when I'm in a sci-fi mood.
Yeah.
Because it's actually like there was nothing. It's so action packed. You're like right into the plot line, and then
Yeah.
stuff happens, and you know. But he was literally about to be executed, and it was like he was in court, kind of in chains, and like there was a
Mm-hmm.
situation that happened, and it was just like really intriguing, and like everything just kind of escalates from there.
Yeah.
um so it got right into the action and everything. I just got out of the mood for a sci-fi, and I kept
That's fair.
book hopping, as I call it. So that was one of the main reads that I had in May, um that I had been reading, or my computer decided to be stupid. So that was another one that I had read. um and then I had the Outlander finale. It was not just the season finale, but the series finale happened in May. And all of us Outlander fans are like, what the heck do we do now? And the ending, they left it open ended. So there was a lot of like questions and theories and things. And so for a brief time, I was trying to get back into reading Outlander, and I just stopped. Not because I made a choice to not read it, but just because I signed up for Loris and Zipporah, and I started reading that one. So I do plan to go back and continue reading Outlander. Um, although I'm kind of confused because I forgot where I left off, and because this is what earlier this spring. I don't remember what month it was.
Yeah.
I'll have to look on Goodreads sometime. But I was like, I have no idea what's going on in this, even though I'm like, I should be able to follow it. So
Mm-hmm.
that was something that I had also kind of, but like one day I like read a little bit more of Outlander.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another one. Um, did you have any other current reads from May, or did you touch on all of them?
Um, let's see. I not really. I think it was more of I felt like when I was rereading Assassin's Blade, but I read it like in the middle of the series, like a lot of like some people like want you to, and I feel like it kind of like for me it diminished the shock of Sam's death because like you've read earlier in the series that he's died, that she's lost him. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
just like I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
like
didn't a
yes, I
little bit,
already
yeah.
yeah, it was like a reread for me, so I already knew that to begin with. But it was like that was always in my mind of like, oh, it's I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to
I can
tell,
see that.
but it just kind of
For me, it
like
was like, I remember when I did it, it was like how it happened. And there
yeah,
was also the question of maybe Steve thinks that he's dead and he's going to be alive and
mm,
come back into the series
that makes
later. I
sense.
had that as a possibility.
That makes
So
sense.
it was like, oh, he's actually dead. And this is
Yeah,
awful and tragic. And
yeah,
like the
cause
way it
like
was written, like
yeah,
it's one of the most tragic character
cause
deaths I've ever
like because I
read.
remember like when I was reading it the first time, and that was like my first introduction to Feyre, like those series of
Yeah.
stories and seeing that growth in her to get to that point, and it was like because in my head when they're making all these plans and I'm like feels like something's going to go wrong, but the other part of my head was like well maybe the series is about them and like the things that they like maybe Sam is going to be a part of this
Mhm.
series later on, and because it's
Yeah.
literally book
Okay.
like for in my head it was like it's the prequel, it's the beginning of the series, very very
Yeah.
beginning,
Okay.
and so it was like the shock that Sam's like gone, and I'm just like oh you know
Yeah.
so it was for me it was like
Super
devastation
impactful
of
to start.
like how is this going to like how are we going to continue this series, like what is going to happen, and so like seeing her like kind of recover and find kind of love ish again with Kale was
Mm-hmm.
like nice in a way. But then later on, when he has the attitude when she comes back, I think that's partly why it was so devastated, is because like I was following the journey of her like finding love, losing love, finding what she thought was love again, and then leaving and finding this new love and thinking she still had that companionship when she'd come back. And then it's like, but as I reread it, I saw where she kind of already anticipated him not liking her when she came back because she revealed who she truly was, and she knew that that would bother him and that he would not like that, like her true identity. And so it's like rereading it, I kind of picked up on those things where she already knew that he wasn't going to like her coming back and he was going to be mean and be nasty, like she knew that already. But I think it was like such
Yeah.
a shock to the fans that it was just like a whiplash you know but yeah, that was like the main thing I
Mm-hmm.
remember like from reading those. um yeah, I don't know what else I was gonna say
Okay. So
there, but
yeah, that's okay. The other one that I started because I'm not technically like because of Dolores and Zipporah being an arc read, I don't have it on Goodreads or Fable, so I'm not technically like reading a published book. And so, and also because I'm doing the audio, if like we're watching a TV show and we're reading on commercials, I can't read it until I'm alone in the evening. So it's like a set time for that. And so I like having a book to read in my off time, just like when I'm
mm-hmm.
sitting out and about. And so I bought Dances with Wolves. I read this once in high school when I found out that the movie by Kevin Costner, starring Kevin Costner, I grew up with it and I didn't know it was based off of a book until I was in high school and I read it and
Hmm.
loved it back then. And so I found it with I've never read the sequel because like
Oh,
in the
okay.
movie it ends on a cliffhanger and they're on the run and me and mom and like growing up watching it we're always like there needs to be a second movie and they
Yeah.
never made one. There's a second book and I've never read it so I'm really excited to like
Oh,
so
fun.
this is like books 1 and 2 so it looks thick.
Yeah.
Um So I started it like literally last night, and this book came out in the 80s, so the writing style is a little older. I feel like it's still like it doesn't bog me down because of the writing style. It
Yeah.
feels modern to me.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't know. I
cool.
think Outlander feels a little, even though I think Outlander came out in the 80s or the 90s, but it's meant to be older, I guess. I don't know. So its writing
Yeah,
style
no,
can
that
be a
makes
little
sense.
bit old.
Yeah.
But one thing I did notice is for a book to movie adaptation, I am not kidding. It's word to word, like
Oh, wow.
immediate translation. Like one thing that I read just today actually, was there's this scene, okay, the only sign of life was the ragged piece of canvas flapping gently in the doorway of the collapsed supply house. The late afternoon breeze was up, but the only thing that moved was the shred of canvas. In the movie, when he first gets to the fort, there was a scene cut and the first shot is of the canvas flapping in the wind,
Oh, okay.
walking in. And I'm like, I'm talking like, because Kevin Costner, I didn't know he directed it. He's the main star of it, but he
Yeah.
directed it too. I
Oh, I
found
didn't
that out
realize
later in
that.
life. Like certain little snapshots in
Mm-hmm.
the filming is like descriptions from the book. Like
Wow. That's
it's
cool.
one to
That's
one.
a really creative
And
way
I
to include the descriptions in a book.
Yeah, and I didn't think about that. And so it's like, and
Yeah.
even like the bonus, there's an extra plot line in this where I don't know if you've ever seen the movie,
It's
but
been a long
essentially it's
time
like
since
civil,
I've watched it. I've seen
yeah,
it, but it's I think it was with you when I saw it. but
probably. I think we
but
watched it
it's
probably
been
sometime when we were growing up.
it's like
Yeah,
two or three apartments ago, I think. Like
that's
it's been a
funny.
hot minute. So I
Yeah.
don't
So
remember a majority of it. I remember like
yeah, well, for
images
anybody who
from certain
hasn't seen it
scenes.
or read the book, it's Civil War and he's a soldier and he's getting posted into the frontier. And so Fort Sedgwick is where he's being sent. So he gets on this supply wagon with this really smelly, rude, stupid guy named Timmons. And they're just traveling through the wilderness to the
Mm-hmm.
plains to get to Fort Sedgwick. So in the like original release that was on TV and then the VHS release, they had taken out this whole extra plot line that was in the extended edition that I now have on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
That's my precious edition, and that is actually in the book.
Oh,
So the
okay,
extended
cool.
edition had this extra. So it actually shows the soldiers at Fort Sedgwick before John Dunbar, the main guy, gets there. They've gone through a lot of problems. Most of them have
Mm-hmm.
deserted. There's like 15 guys left. They're starving. They have no supplies. They have no
Yeah.
horses. They don't trust their leader. And he's like, all right, this is it. We're abandoning the fort, guys. Come on. And they leave
Mm-hmm.
right before John Dunbar arrives. And
Mm.
so that actually shows that. But in the book, the only difference between it and the movie, we don't know what happens to them in the movie, but in the book, they actually go back to the original fort that sent Dunbar there, but they kind of miss each other,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And the major who gave John Dunbar his orders to go there was this crazy guy who'd lost his mind because of the Civil War, and he ends up getting institutionalized right as the other soldiers get there, and he was
Mm-hmm.
the only guy who knew that John Dunbar had gone
Oh,
to the
okay.
fort
Got it.
other than the supply wagons guy Timmons. And so basically they don't know that John Dunbar is there, so he basically gets essentially totally abandoned there. And Timmons, the supply dude, when he gets on his way back, in the movie, spoiler alerts, he gets shot full of arrows by Pawnee, and the Pawnee Native Americans attack him and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So basically everybody that knows about John Dunbar is dead, and that becomes a huge plot point and a major
Oh,
like
okay.
everything going wrong
Mm-hmm.
later after he gets, because he basically, the whole point of the book is he gets adapted into this tribe. Now in the book it's Cheyenne, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think, but in the movies it's Lakota. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the reason why they changed it was because they actually had like,
Language. Yeah.
because the majority of the movie is in Lakota, like the actual language, and it's kind of a dead language right now, but they had a lot of um like really good actors and stuff like that. They actually, a lot of the actors had to learn the language for the movie, even though
Oh,
they're Native
wow.
Americans, because it's a dying language. And
Yeah.
so, and he gets adopted into this native tribe, and by the time the fort gets like resupplied, they
Mm-hmm.
think that he's a deserter, and it creates this whole big drama ordeal.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But so I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I'm pretty much just watching the movie in my head as I read because it's the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm. No, that
So,
makes sense. Okay, so I
and I'm
can't.
going to that into June as well, by the way,
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of dive a little bit into my book haul of sorts. A
Okay.
little bit, but okay.
Okay, yeah, mine kind of overlap as well.
It's okay. So this one, I don't remember if I've showed you this one or not. To bleed a crystal bloom. And so
No, actually, I haven't heard one.
it's written by Sarah A. Parker, so the same one that did, um,
Familiar.
um, I have the original cover for the series, but I forget what it's called. Something Torch something.
Sarah J. Parker?
Sarah
Is that
J.
who it is?
Sarah A. Parker.
A. Parker, not J. Parker. Okay, I was just going to look up what books they were real quick. I was going to Google it. Oh, When the Moon Hatched.
Oh! Oh, I have the next one underneath it. That makes more sense. But it's described as a dark reimagining of Rapunzel, with an immersive.
Okay, so it's not a part of the series.
No, it's a different series. Yeah. It's
so a dark Rapunzel.
Yeah, a dark reimagining of Rapunzel, full of immersive imaginary and breathtaking angst.
You'll have to tell me if it's worth me reading, because
okay.
It sounds pretty good. I'm a sucker for a fairy tale.
Yeah, so it says 19 years ago, I was plucked from the heart of a bloody massacre that spared no one else. Small, frail, and an enigma. Now ward to a powerful high master who knows too much and says too little. I lead a simple life, never straying from the confines of an imaginary line I've drawn around the castle grounds. So it's kind of like, it kind of gives the, like, grown-up Rapunzel vibe.
Yeah.
And then she did release book 2 of When the Moon Hatched. So I bought book 2, even though I haven't read book 1 yet, but
that's funny.
The pages were so pretty. Gorgeous. I couldn't help myself. So yeah, I can't really give you any information on it. There's stuff on the inside covers, and I'm like, I don't know what it means.
At least I can't tell, because through the Discord, because I'm like, don't want spoilers. I actually have that. I have the paperback, and it is so massive in paperback form compared to hardback form, and I regret it. Like, why didn't I get the hardback for this book? Because this is too big for my hands. I can't. One of the things.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, yeah. So one of mine, this is also branching into my book haul too, because I figured we could go back and forth. I saw on Instagram this author that I follow and stuff. It popped up randomly where she was going through like a carousel of like her book or whatever, and the main guy, get this, was described as Sokka meets Finn from Tangled. I'm like, okay.
So if Sokka was a thief.
Yeah, like
a scruffy Sokka.
Humor and the appearance, like the art that they had was literally like a mesh of their appearance too. It was like really, I was like instant buy. I didn't even read the blurb to this book. I'm telling you, I read it later. I was like, I couldn't help myself. So it's called The Dragon Thief.
Oh,
and it's
that's a pretty cover.
Book. So I'm like, look at that cover. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I read, before I bought it, I read the sample to make sure that I was going to like it, because I have a habit of buying books and then something happens and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And the whole beginning, he's literally on this heist, and it's his job to draw the guards away. So there's like this run, escape, hide, heist thing, and he's got such a good sense of humor. And then I realized that they were kind of younger, and it's teenager characters, and so I was like, but I still want to read it. I have to be in the mood to read teenagers. But because I'm reading H.A. Pruitt's books and Dolores and Zipporah, we jump stages as they grow up.
Okay.
And to get back into the Mortal Instruments, because again, same problem. I used to have a crush on this guy, and now he's 17, and I don't know what to do with myself because I'm 31. I don't process that. It's the book boy. I realize it's the book boyfriend problem. How can I see you as a book boyfriend if you're 17?
Our book boyfriends don't age with us. That's the sad reality.
Yeah. I'm like, dang it, you're just a kid making stupid mistakes, and because it's the main character's days. So
except like, Anakin. Anakin's already an adult, so it's okay. Yeah.
So Anakin, Clone Wars Anakin were good. But yeah, but yeah, so I was like, I'm going to get back into it because it sounds so good. And it says like, they have serious moments, but it's like Avatar, where it's serious when it needs to be serious, but you have a bunch of friends and you have the humor. and the whole plot, he's stealing a dragon egg, and there's like, I don't even know what the plot is because I literally bought this for the character. So, and it's like really, really good.
Oh, that does sound good.
So yeah, like listen to this opening line. If I were a better thief, I wouldn't be leaping to my death from the top of a tower.
Fair.
Yeah, so I'm like, and I think his name is Asher. So I'm like, all right, you got me. Like, so I just kind of want to. I'm excited to kind of have fun with it and like,
oh yeah,
just read teenage.
yeah,
and just imagine that I'm a teenager with them. Because I guess we read
live
for escapism, so
vicariously
maybe
through there.
people
Yeah,
read by me.
live vicariously through them.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so I have only read the first two books in the Bridgerton series so far, and they had book 3 at Target, which was because you and I have had this discussion on multiple times. Like they flip flopped the couples in the TV series, I guess. But book 3 is Benedict and Sophie's book, and that I was able to find that one at Target. But I couldn't find like the next two books in the series. Like there was like a few of them that I couldn't find in the specific covers that I have been buying them in.
yeah, because I was like, what's he gonna do?
And so I went to Mom and I went to Branson. We stopped at Books A Million, and they have had the entire series, and I'm like, okay, I can't buy the entire series. Like mom is in the car and she judges me a lot when I buy more than just like one or two books, so I have to be selective. So I went ahead and bought. I love Mom, she's the best, but she does kind of she told me to downsize my books, and my solution was to buy a third bookshelf. So so we have slightly differing opinions on book buying habits. But but to be fair, I have been reading this series little by little, and so I couldn't find Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, which was Colin and Penelope's book. So I went ahead and bought the next one there, because book 4, that was the one I'm like, okay, after this one that I have, the one I just bought, so that was Sophie and Benedict's book. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to find this one, because the one at Jeff doesn't have it, the one at the lake doesn't have it, so I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to find this next one. And so I found it at Books A Million. Yeah, I found Books A Million, and I'm like, okay, so I've got this at least. And so I went ahead and I have the first 4. And so I think there's 4 more. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's 8 total, I think. And the last one of this cover, like, literally just come out this year. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's like something wedding. Hold on, let me look.
Yeah.
I know I saved the picture on my phone, but because they're called the deluxe collector's editions, because when you stack them all up, it shows the Bridgerton house, I guess, which I didn't realize that until this now. But like they have the Bridgerton house thingy, so when you put them all in order, it'll make the house when it's done. But the last one, I always forget the name of the last one. On the Way to the Wedding, I guess, which is Georgie's book. That one, the deluxe collector's edition, just came out this year. Georgie is the youngest. Is he the younger? Georgie is the youngest. Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure. So there's.
So that's beyond what I've seen in the TV.
Yeah, and I haven't found To Sir Philip with Love. I haven't found that one in Target at all either. So that may be one I'll have to either order online, or like when I'm seeing my cousin in Springfield at some point soon, or when I go down to see Katie at Springfield, I'll have to check Barnes & Noble there or something. But yeah, I've seen When He Was Wicked, and It's in His Kiss. I think I saw that one somewhere. But yeah, so it gets like hit or miss on when you can find them. They also have the deluxe collector's editions, but like in bundles. So they have like the first 3. It's like 4 total, and they have like 2 or 3 books. It's like Daphne and Anthony are together, yeah. Benedict and Colin are together, Eloise and Francesca are together, and then the last 2 are together, and so they're like big, thick things. But
me.
Yeah, so I went ahead and bought that. And then while I was at Barnes & Noble, I went ahead, not Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. I went ahead and bought this one. It was, okay, it has a rip. It has a rip at the bottom of the dust jacket. And I searched that entire building, and there was not another copy. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. And I went ahead and bought it. And I was just kind of been flattening it out every little bit. So it's not really that bad. But it was like, it even kind of hit into like the hardcover part too. So I don't know if it like got like damaged in the box. But we need to do like a read together of this. Like I've made us a group thing on Fable. So, and it's currently March that we're reading a book that I finished reading ages ago and then you never did read. So it's not up to date. Our club says The Stars Are Dying. We're currently reading The Stars Are Dying. We are not currently reading that.
So bad. I tried. In my defense, I tried.
Yeah. So, when we can sync up, that could be our read together. Our Fable Club
our
read.
sync up for everybody watching. Our sync ups are bad, but there's no spice in this. It's humorous. It's funny. It's also kind of dramatic. Like it feels like a well-rounded. Like I can't wait.
And it makes me think like a post-apocalyptic kind of vibe, and.
Yeah.
You know, and Hunger Games really isn't post-apocalyptic, but it's like, you know, it's like, I haven't read very many of that vibe.
To survive in dungeons, and it's being broadcast everywhere, but so there's a lot of humor to it, but the concept behind it is still like, you know, we're gonna force you to fight to your death to entertain the masses, like that trope. But like dungeons, so it's like D&D, I imagine, but with tons of humor and a talking cat.
Yeah.
So it's not.
I've heard not a huge comedy reader though, so like I'm curious to see how I like it. But the cover's just really cool looking.
Watching. It really is. The one guy said that it's not predictable, and so he likes that. Like he doesn't even know how to explain it because like you can't predict what's going to happen next in this plot. So.
Sweet.
All right, my next one, this is just because I technically will be and am reading it because I have to, but Warrior, by the way, this is the cover. This is the not for resale, so this is the proof copy. I don't have an actual copy of my own book yet, but so this is the cover. I think I've shown it off a couple of times, but this is the cover. Sweet. I like when you know, I like it is one of my favorites of the whole series. So I am proofreading this, as you can see from here. I have them organized, and so I'm like this much done, and I've got this much left to go, so I'm proofreading it. I need to finish proofreading it this month, so that's my priority. I stopped because I focused on Hunter's Kickstarter, but I gotta get this done and prepare for its Kickstarter later this summer. So for anybody who doesn't know, it is like, I describe it like Mulan meets Fourth Wing, but with bonded animals instead of bonded dragons. It doesn't have spice. So, and it will make you cry. It will make you bawl your eyes out. So it is a very emotional book.
Frequent issue with your books, making me cry. I feel like you're like, this one will make you cry, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, which one won't, Joanna? Which one won't? Like, this is not.
I just posted a reel today on Instagram that was talking about a situation with Survivor, and I was like, that is so mean for anybody who's read the book to like have that moment just in my reel with my smiling face pointing to it and a sad song playing there. But yeah, so the blurb, I'm excited for this book, by the way, and it has a snarky horse. Like, who doesn't love a snarky talking horse? Like, they talk in their minds. So, but here's the blurb. To save her family, Syndra must become a warrior. Syndra Morgold is the eldest 2 daughters in a world where having no sons is a disgrace. With her father sick and dying, she's forced to join the army in place of a firstborn son. If she fails to complete her training in 1 year, her family will be banished from the Empire. No woman has ever succeeded. Training is overseen by General Rothon, a battle-hardened commander with a snarky bonded horse and a reputation for ruthless discipline and a past carved by grief. Syndra struggles through the harsh training with her faithful bonded fox, Lyric, as a guide and strength to get her through. When the training becomes war, Syndra forms friendships that give her strength, and she must decide who she is willing to become as she faces the battlefield and the cost of survival. But in the quiet spaces between battles, she and Rothon are drawn together by grief they don't know how to lay down and by a shared fear of what loving again might cost them. The war will try to harden her. To save her family and survive what's coming, Syndra may have to sacrifice the parts of her that Rothon is fighting to protect.
Ooh. Fun, fun. Okay, so I got a book of the month for cheaper, and so I went ahead and did it. And I got this one. It's called Seek the Traitor's Son. That was kind of pretty.
Is that Veronica Ross?
Yeah.
I know her. I used to read one of her series and loved them.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in school.
So
this keeps up on my computer, and it's so annoying. Sorry. My computer's
okay, so essentially what this one is about, it's Elgian, I think is how you say the name. I'm probably butchering that. So it says that she did not ask for destiny to find her. And it's described as an epic romance dystopian fantasy. And it says that she is happy with her life she's happy with her life as a soldier, defending her small country from the Talusar, a powerful nation whose worships a deadly fever. The fever is blessed half the victims with mysterious gifts. So when she's announced to have a prophecy, her and most of the most ruthless of Talusar generals, Rava Vidar, brought face to face, they learn that one of them will lead their people to victory over the other, but they don't know which. And at the center of both of their fates, a man. That man, LG is told, she will fall in love with. So, it's pretty interesting.
Wow. Wow. Sorry, my throat was like...
Yeah. So it's interesting. I thought it was interesting enough, and I'm like, I like that.
Yeah. That's cool. I pulled it up on Amazon because I couldn't resist. So, that actually sounds pretty good. I used to like her other book in high school, so she's a decent writer. Like,
I forget. She also wrote the... Is it Divergent? Yeah, it's Divergent. So.
Oh, Divergent. My brain mixed her up with a different author, but yeah, obviously, I love her books, and she writes dystopian really well. Look at me, I got her mixed up with somebody else, but whatever.
Very good. Okay, another one that was really okay. I'm gonna bundle it real quickly because I'm excited about this one. Okay, I went to Walmart the other day. I can't remember if it was yesterday or what, but I saw a little sticker that signed author signed edition, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I looked at it and I'm like, and I read the blurb and then I'm like, ooh. And then the cover, I'm like, ooh.
I saw that somewhere, like not Walmart, but elsewhere.
I forget if it was at Walmart or not. It was somewhere. But like anyway, it says
I read the blurb on it.
Yeah, so it sounds really interesting. So there's a high priestess spends her life in hiding. And she's the last surviving heir of a magical bloodline that this republic slaughtered. And then you have the Praetorian has made a career of dragging liars into the light, and he has vowed to ruin her. So it sounds interesting. And I'm just like, it's giving, like, ancient Romy vibes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I like that. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
The blurb didn't, I was like thinking about buying it, but the blurb didn't catch me as much because I was like, oh, he's just going to ruin her. It's like the typical thing. But I loved the cover and the sprayed edges and stuff. I didn't see a sign. I don't know if it was signed or not, so that's really cool too. And the ancient Romy vibes. Maybe I didn't see the sprayed edged one. Did I? I can't remember. But I've seen that popping up.
And then like they have like a layout of the palace, which I thought was kind of cool. I've never seen a book like lay out the like palace of like where things are at, so I thought that was interesting.
It must be relevant to bot, I wonder.
And then
like that's cool. I didn't see that either.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting that it was like there's the stairs here. It was like a really cool like actually like a really not that okay. I don't mean this, like, I love pictures of, like, authors and stuff, like, not authors, but, like, the characters and stuff, because it helps, like, visually, like, to visualize the characters, but as a person who visualizes the setting, like, I absolutely love this. Like, I can, like, you know what I'm saying, like, a picture where people are going, and such. Okay.
Also, side note, I feel like I like blurbs these days. For me, don't do it. I don't know why, but like I have bought so many things based on tropes or art or like
Yeah.
how they're described on social media. And I've gone to like, oh, this sounds so good, or this is a good book, and I read the blurb and I'm just like, it does nothing for me. I don't know why I've gotten in that where like blurbs just don't, but I imagine if you follow the author's social media and she has the tropes or she has
Oh,
like her
yeah.
social media description of the book, it's going to sound good.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know if it's me or whatever, but, or just blurbs have to sound a certain way for
Yeah.
like Amazon's sake. Like, I've just gotten used to like
That's fair.
describing things a way. And so, yeah, but
That makes
that's just a
sense.
side note. Okay, my next one, I actually was going to start reading this like last month, and then I ended up signing up for Allures and Zipporah, and she sent the arcs out, so I wasn't able to. I've read the first
Oh.
page twice now,
Yeah, I
because
have
I read
that
it when I
one.
first bought it.
I was like, I haven't officially put it on my bookshelf because, like, the beginning of it was like, it seemed very bloody. And I'm just
I'm a
like,
psychopath.
oh.
I read the beginning. I was like, oh dang, this is my thing. I'm in my jam. Let's
Yeah.
go. And I was like
I think it was
popcorn and
like,
soda.
I think it was
I
like
totally think it's
him
not for everybody
carrying
though.
the decapitated head was like, okay,
I've
let's
gotten
take a
that far,
break
yeah.
from that. But
I can totally understand it's not for
But
everybody.
then it's like the
But yeah,
medical horror stuff from Alchemize didn't bother me one bit. So it was like.
that's so weird. But that bothered me though. So it's like a weird flip flop.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'm just really intrigued. He's a military guy and they're like experiments and it sounds like they've made them pretty insane and she has to kind of deal with his insanity and I'm like all over this because it's my thing. It's my jam. And
Yeah,
it
I'll
gets a
have to give
little
it another
bit, it
try.
seems a lot more graphic than I go, but like I don't know. I only got to the second page, but
Yeah.
it just intrigues me. And plus the art, like I'm a sucker for character art, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, that
I'll
looks
have
so
to give
good.
it another
Even the
try.
black and white. And this is in the paperback. Like paperbacks don't normally have art like
Ooh,
this, you know
that
what I
is
mean?
cool.
Like
Yeah.
other than the
I
straight
like
edges
that.
and stuff. So that's the next one, and I'll bundle my next one. Since we're talking about crazy, insane things, I have heard Steven, the guy I
Oh, I
like to
forgot
watch.
about that one. I have that one too. Yeah, we bought it together.
Yeah, I tried to peel the sticker off,
No!
and it's so
I
I'm
was
like,
just sitting
no.
here peeling the stickers off my next one because I'm like,
That's funny.
there's like you have to shimmy it with
But
your
yeah,
nail for a while, and then you gotta
okay.
slowly peel it. There's an
I
art.
will
I'll
work
have to
that
show you
out.
the art
I
of
have
peeling
no
the
nails,
stickers.
but it's okay. Um, yeah, it's like a creepy playhouse, but I think it's actually a murder mystery because one of my stories is actually of the author having this like social media thing happen to her, which I'll talk about later. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know for sure because I haven't read it. But Steven said he went to just read the beginning and he just couldn't put it down. So like once you start reading,
Ooh.
you can't stop. And it's like I don't know, it's given me like the performers of the playhouse have to obey the director and
Mm-hmm.
it's giving me like just I would love it vibes. I don't know how to some books you're just like I
Yeah.
think that's my thing and I don't know why. And I don't know if it has spice or not. I don't think so. So and
Mm-hmm.
like I wanted to look at the actual like oh it's just a plane. Just a plane. That's okay.
You're like,
But
oh. Oh.
I was
That's
waiting for
crazy.
something special. So that's the other one. And then the rest are going to be on my Kindle, which also overlaps my book haul. So essentially, my book haul, they're all on my TBR list. At some point, I want to read all of these
So they're
books, so I just
all
wanted
one
to throw
list.
that out.
Okay,
Yeah.
the last thing that I could think of, I'm sure there's other ones that I put on my shelf that I bought that I just can't, remember.
Yeah.
Oh, I brought
Remember,
Bloodline.
all of them were like in the front.
I bought Bloodline, the book, the Star Wars book about Princess Leia, and like her coming to terms with being Vader's daughter. Um, and like, I don't think that's the right. I don't think that's the right name for it, but it's close enough.
Yeah.
Come on, Goodreads, read my mind. No, no, it's not happening. Okay. It is Bloodline. I'm not crazy. So it's set
Crazy,
6
there's a method
years.
to madness.
So it's one of the like the new era, like the new sequel era type novels, but it's 6 years before The Force Awakens. So it focuses on Senator Leia Organa as she navigates the political gridlock of the New Republic and uncovers the growing threat. So of the First Order, and so she kind of like it. I wanted to say like in the blurb, it kind of mentions like her having to like mentions like her being the daughter of Vader, and it kind of touches on that a little bit. So I'm hoping that there's some like meaty angst to that. Um,
That's cool.
yeah, at least I'm hoping. Which that one's one I've been like on the fence about. Anyway, sorry, I was got so excited. But
No, you're fine.
was it my turn? Was that why I was talking?
Yeah, that was what we were talking about, was the Leia one.
Okay.
The other one
the only last one I have is the book 2 for Silver Elite is book 1, and it was like the Divergenty. It gave me like a Divergenty, like the old style books that we would read. Like it was giving me that kind of vibe, like the nostalgia reedy vibes. So book 2 did come out, so I went ahead and got book 2. And so, if I can manage to finish, to sleep in a Sea of Stars, if I can finish that one, this will be the next one I probably will start. Is this one?
Cool. I need to read Silver Elite.
Yeah, I know you started, and then another big book came out, and then we kind of did a DNFFL. No, DNF.
Yes.
FN.
DNF FN. Yeah,
DNFFN?
did not finish for now. Yeah, DNF FN did not finish for now. I'm trying to like make a figure with all of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I need to get back to that. I mean, I'm in a dystopian mood, so it'll probably bump up on my TBR list, maybe. So my next one, another ebook. So this one, actually, how I discovered it was interesting. I was watching YouTube, and there was these two girls who were reading books together, and they would talk about the book, and it reminded me of me and you, and I'm like, we need to do that sometime. But I actually filmed clips, because I remember when we did our 24-hour reading challenge thingy, we did kind of similar to that, where we took clips, and like, I wanted another moment of that with you. And I did not agree with a lot of their takes, because they were like hardcore feminists, where they're like, this was written by a female author because books by male authors suck. Like,
I don't agree with that.
So I didn't think that. I don't either. But one of the books they talked about,
we're not shaming people or their works based on their gender.
I know, and I didn't like that. So, but one of the books they mentioned was A Forbidden Fate by Cavan, whatever the last name is, whatever that author's name is. And okay, she goes into these woods, and she, like, I don't even remember the trope, but she encounters like this previous love of her life, and they were cursed, and they can't touch each other, or he dies, or she dies, or everybody dies, and it's one of those like we actually physically cannot touch because we will die. And I love that trope, and it's never done. I can't find books that do it ever, and I'm like, I bought it because of that. So so that was one, and so I'm going to go through some of these pretty quickly. So that one's definitely higher up on my Kindle TBR list. The next one is an indie author. I follow them. It's a husband and wife, I believe. If they're brother and sister, I'm sorry, but I don't know. They have the same last name, so I'm just going to assume husband and wife team. Dalton and Baguette and Emily Baguette. It reminds me of a baguette. It makes me want to eat baguettes every time I read the last name. I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. It's called Flameheart. And they're Christian. I believe they're Christian authors, but maybe they're just indie authors, but I don't know. But Flameheart.
That's cool.
This girl is a writer, and she has written this main character, and they've been friends for a long time because she brought him to life. But stuff happens, and she basically brings him out of the book, and he becomes real. And then the plot happened. So I was like, a writer getting to fall in love with her main character, I'm kind of like in for it. And like the carousel that they had the most gorgeous art, and it just like I said, everything that's been intriguing me lately, those things. So I was just like, I forget let me see if I can find it. I put it on my book wish list. I have a book wish list like collection on Instagram now. Um okay. I'm gonna find it. When they're best friends, but she's actually a fantasy writer and he's the prince from her stories. In those stories, he's trained her since they were kids. She only drops her guard when she is with him. Secretly, he's loved her for years, and thanks to her magic, he is no longer fictional. It's portal fantasy, slow burn, no spice, anxiety rep, bookish female character,
Hmm.
and green flag male character. And it's an upper YA romantic fantasy series. Narnia meets Shadowhunters.
Ooh, I appreciate that they clarified it as upper YA. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So,
genuinely, I like that.
and the art. Yeah, so that's the next one. And then I bought just a whole bunch of other ones that like sound really good. I know Keyholder. Shout out to the author of Keyholder because I follow her on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and she's given a lot of pretty good advice for her dystopian book series.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle Harrington, she was actually offering to have ARC readers, and I told her like I normally don't sign up
Ooh.
for ARCs because I DNF books a lot, and she was like, "Oh, I'll send it to you anyway. It's okay." And I was like, "No, I'm just gonna buy it and support you directly." So I bought it
Oh,
instead so that I
sweet.
can read it and DNF it in my own time. But it's a bounty hunter romance, so like he's a bounty hunter
Oh,
and
fun.
yeah. So that one was another one that I was like, sounds good. Trying to find. Um, Also this one has a map. This is Convergence,
Ooh.
but I can't.
Oh, that's
It's like
cool.
really cool. Yeah, so this is Convergence. This one is a dystopian where the bonded and it's very much like Divergent where they go through a ceremony when they come of age
Mm-hmm.
and the bonded animal chooses them and then they have powers
Oh, got
based
it.
on the animal. But it's a dystopian. So I
Hmm.
was like, I kind of want to just read it because I was like, the
Yeah.
bonded animal thing is what, because I talked about that with Warrior, which I lost my copy of Warrior. Where did it go? This is awful. Um, so I was like, the bonded animal thing, I kind of was curious to see how she did it versus me. And I was like, that's so
Who
cool.
is
So
it
I bought
by?
that one too. And there's like a whole bunch of others. Kirsten Dunn. She's an indie author on Instagram, I found.
Hmm. Okay.
So
There
yeah.
it
And
is.
then,
I was typing it in, but it wasn't
yeah.
bringing it up. So I'm like, I'll just look up the author.
So I have a bunch of other ones, but the only other one I'm going to actually mention directly is a funny story. So I was on Facebook and an ad popped up for a book and it sounded so good because he like gives himself up to the enemy for her and they arrest
Mm-hmm.
him. And I was like, "Ooh." And so I went to click on it on the link, but I accidentally clicked hide ad
Oh.
and I lost the whole thing and I couldn't remember the title. I couldn't
No.
It took me forever and I had to chat GPT long no joke had to help me super sleuth. But eventually I found it and I think it may be later on in the series when that part of the trope happens, but it's part of this series, The Broken Kingdoms. It's Curse of Shadows and Thorns by LJ Andrews.
Ooh, fun. I like
Yeah, and
that.
he did or he or she, I don't know if it's a he or her, did the one that I read that I wanted you to read that you got the prettier edition of it than me. Um what is that? LJ Andrews. I know what I'm talking about. Um, or maybe I don't.
I'm trying to think of what book you're
Broken
talking.
Soul. I'm trying to figure out what book I'm talking about. The Everseas, the Ever King.
Oh,
Oh my God, so
got it.
terrifying. The
Yeah.
Ever King. See, you have the
Yes.
pretty version of it. I found a version of it at the Jeff City, like the vintage shop store.
Oh, yeah.
Basic. So I loved the Ever King. I DNF'd the Ever Queen because of reasons I don't even remember now. But I really loved the Ever King, so I was like, I know I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
like LJ Andrews' style and
Okay,
like
cool.
all the angst and stuff. And it may be a series of romantic standalones, but it may not be. So I really
Mm-hmm.
can't tell, and I don't know when that trope's gonna come into play. If maybe
Oh,
like
okay.
that happens to the main couple and it's gonna be a cliffhanger at the end of the book. But I'm definitely like really intrigued. So that was another one, among others that I won't do because I've talked about to me both.
Hmm.
So, did you have any more
Not really.
book haul, other stuff? Since I was like, I've got
Not really.
articles and things I can talk about.
Let me see how long we've been going for. Right at an hour, to be fair. We could do like a couple like biggest things you wanted my reactions or my thoughts on, because I don't have any like
Okay.
newsy type stuff. So if you want to pick like a handful of them and then just like dump them on me, we
Rapid
can go.
fire.
You're rapid fire,
Okay.
I guess.
So the biggest one, there's this guy talking about like specifically Sarah J. Maas, just in general, her books, because she's like the biggest one.
Yeah.
But basically like spicy books these days. But he was talking about how they're mostly female writers, and he was talking about and comparing it to another male author that he had read that also had like those type of scenes in there. And a lot of the people in the comments were like leftist and feminist, and so I'm curious. I've really wanted to get like a Christian's perspective on that, to be objective and find out like what the actual problem is.
Yeah.
But I haven't been able to find anybody talking about that, because Christians aren't really like I just it's not something they're talking about.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is that he and other people, everybody in the comments was like, because essentially, like, how do I explain this? People call it smut and spice and kind of like say that it's dirty, like with like Sarah J. Maas and stuff, but they don't do that for like male authors. And I used Game of Thrones as my example because I have watched the TV series, and it does have a lot of sex and nudity in it.
Yeah.
And it's not always consensual. And like, why does nobody, because that's considered high fantasy. So it's like, what's the difference? And everybody was like, the patriarchy, and they're going against the females. And I'm like, no. And so one idea that I had was, he writes like George R. R. Martin in particular, historical themed fantasy, so medieval fantasy. So his stuff gets really dark. So he includes stuff like that because it's coming from like a realistic, what happens on Earth in history. People get, you know, hurt like that.
Yeah.
And this kind of stuff happens, but the whole plot is not about the spice or smut. Whereas the romantic female authors, like, the whole plot is about the romance, so therefore the plot revolves around the spice and smut.
Yes.
That's the only reason I could think of as the difference.
Honestly,
but I didn't know.
like, a couple things to touch on. If they're using Game of Thrones explicitly as an example, book 1 was written in 1996. Book 2 was written in 1998, and then book 3 was 2000, book 4 was in 2005, and then the most recent one was 2011, which is more recent, but still, it's like double digits, close to double digits from now, like in the past. So it's like, one, expectations for that kind of thing were different then, for one. Two, Game of Thrones, okay, at the end of the day, spice is spice, regardless of whether a guy wrote it or a girl wrote it. And if they're writing non-consensual things, it's never a good thing. It's never okay for things to be, like, for somebody to do something without someone's consent. Like, end of story. Like, it's... Like, I do feel like also, like, setting and context and what the inspirations for different stories are can sometimes affect that too. Like, Game of Thrones feels very medieval stuff. And let's be honest, they weren't very nice back in medieval times, and women didn't have hardly any rights at all. And so it's like, and it is a very, very dark fantasy, dark fantasy novel. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of sex. And so it's like one of those things, could George R. R. Martin come out and say something? Yeah. He's also an old man. It's, there's question of whether he's going to live long enough to finish the series. So it's like, at this point, could he make a statement about it? Yes. Will he? I have no idea. I feel like there hasn't been a significant number of people that, like, if something were to go viral on TikTok discussing the issues with this, or they had a problem with it, and they made enough noise, they could probably get a statement out of him. Just like you could get a statement out of any other author. But I think because that kind of series is so established, it's going to affect things very differently. Now, it's like, when
Here's the thing too.
it's not like the sex in those kind of stories, sex is not the plot line. The sex is not the plot line. The sex is an added little sprinkle on top of the story. Like, the plot line is the kingdoms, the rulers, the fighting, the deaths, the all of that. That is the plot. Like, I've never read the Game of Thrones series. I have no idea. I've never watched it, never read it. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to plotline. But I do know for a fact that is not, like, who is sleeping with who is not the main focus of that story. Now, in ACOTAR, yes, there's a lot of other stuff going on. It's not the main focus. But in situations like Empire of Storms, for example, when the characters are making decisions, and those decisions are central for the plot line of what's going to happen in the future, or what they think is going to happen in the future, and it includes things that are non-consensual, or it's a romance novel where the couple is one's wanting to have a baby and the other one's not, and they make a decision that's considered to be kind of like a taboo, like a non-consensual decision, and it's that central to the story, then it has a very different thing about it. It has nothing to do with whether the author... Now, in some cases, yes, it could be. For some people. Now, for the fandom as a whole, no.
Also, that behavior is not called out in certain books, whereas like in Game of Thrones, it's like a villain doing it to a good character, and the good character has to like overcome the trauma.
Yeah.
And stuff. That happened with Outlander as well.
And that's where, and it's all about how the author writes it into the story, for one, and how the author either addresses that behavior, has like the character the victim address, like how the victim acknowledges what happened, or how people call out the villain, or however that's addressed within the story. For me, that's the big thing. If it's never if the characters never address it, if the characters that I feel like are the ones doing the wrong never address it, that's when I'm going to go to the author and be like, hey, what is this for? Why did we not address this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the other thing too that I thought about is George R. R. Martin and other male authors are not writing that for their audience's enjoyment. The men are not like
exactly. That's another thing. It's not written for enjoyment.
Whereas the female authors are writing this for the audience's enjoyment. Yes. So it is meant to be enjoyed in a certain way by the female audience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now males read it too, but it's primarily a female audience they're aiming for. And so it's not meant, like, that's the difference, and that's why it's called out more often with female authors on the conservative side, is because you're writing it so that your females can enjoy reading that kind of stuff, whereas the men, they're here for the war and the blood. Like, let's be honest, like, that's why you're reading Game of Thrones and all these other, like,
for the battles, the one that the war, the dragons, all of that stuff. That's why you're reading it. You're not reading
Peter
it just...
Brett, one of his books was the example he used in the Instagram post.
Yeah.
But like that's why you're reading that. Like you're here for the blood and gore and the battles and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first one. Next one, rapid fire. So talking about the author of A Stage Set for Villains, so Shannon J. Span or Spain.
Yes.
So I guess on her Instagram, somebody made an account that is her main guy character. And she's like, okay, fans make character profiles all the time. And she's like, this isn't affiliated with me, but it's fine. Honestly, so she let it go. And that
is that a common thing, though?
It is. Like, for having an Instagram of the main character, like, you'll probably find them out there, and they're made by fans. So then she let it go. This person messaged her and was, like, tagging her in a few things, fine. But then they did it for the main girl character and started messaging her, and then they started doing it for every single side character that exists in this book. And then she's not behind the accounts, so it's kind of like, and then the readers got involved, and they've made their own book clubs, like, with these accounts, and like it got kind of weird, whereas like some of them, because it's a murder mystery, and so some of these accounts were sending her really sketchy messages and really creepy, like, images.
Yeah,
And
no.
she's not affiliated with any of it. And it's like the weirdest thing. Like, she's taking it really well, but she just wanted to do a video where she's like, this is not me, guys. I am not behind these accounts, and I don't know where
Yeah.
they're coming from. And
Yeah.
so,
That's where people need to put this is a fan account like in the description or have something like at the bottom like in parentheses or in an asterisk saying like fan account like or not affiliated
yeah.
with so and so because like yeah, no, that's too much of like if people start sending me creepy messages, I'm going to block them
Yeah,
and
I'm not
report
okay with
them.
that. I
Like
can't have them
I
off.
and that's where it's like if I were her, I would be like just be watching those messages very closely and just like reporting them.
Yeah.
Because no. Yeah.
Yeah. So, somebody else in another one was like, what if the new, um, Rebecca Yarros Empyrean book that is untitled and we don't know what it's
Mm-hmm.
about? What if it's about the 50 letters that Liam wrote and then we'd have to lose him all over again? And she's just
Uh,
bundled up in a fanfic, and I'm like, how dare you?
there's a lot of different like novella style things that could be. It could be Brendan's note journal. It could be because that's addressed quite a bit, and people are reading the quotes from the journals from the journal in the chapter thing to try to figure out the plot. So I could see her making an actual book for people to pick apart the lore and like make theories on. I could see her doing that.
That would be so fun.
But
Yeah.
also
So,
his letters,
mhm.
that would be angsty as crap. That I
Yeah.
would
So,
not
like,
be
he'd all
ready
be
for
dead. Like,
at all.
oh man. So along those same lines, that same account was like, what if mid-battle Violet in the new Fourth Wing book? What if
Okay.
mid-battle Violet is watching Xaden lead the Venom? Um, I forgot to write all this down, and he kills Riddick in a rage. And then and Violet
No!
Riddick,
Oh my god!
tell me this is the line, Violet. And everybody's like, you're banned from the internet and go away. Like, you're too much internet
No.
today. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
You're grounded from the internet. Okay.
meanwhile, me,
Although, did
I
you
was like,
see?
if it doesn't have this level of angst, I will be like, I want
Yeah.
this level of
Okay.
angst.
Did you
Like,
see
you know what I'm
where, I guess in an interview, she was talking. Rebecca Yarros was talking, and I guess all these people are like, "You won't kill him. Don't you better not kill Riddick." And like they were commenting it so much that I guess her husband got online in the comments and replied, "You need to quit telling her not to do something, or that she better not do something because she is the type of person that she will do it out of spite." And he's like, "So if you," he's like, "I like Riddick. I don't want Riddick to die, so you need to stop." And like actually got in the comments and was like, "She is that type of person." So like if people don't
That's
shut their
funny.
mouth about like telling her you better not kill Riddick in your next novel, like they need to like relax because I could
Yeah,
definitely
that's
see
almost
her
a
writing
challenge.
his death. Yes, I could definitely see her putting
Like, you want to bet?
yeah.
Watch me. Like,
Yes,
that's my
like that
kind of
is
mic drop. Like,
literally and
that's my attitude.
that's the way he described it in the comments was like that is definitely her kind of personality of like she will say bet and like definitely do it if you guys don't stop and relax.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, yeah.
So last one is a suspicion or a theory
okay.
that based on some evidence that Sarah J. Maas is actually beefing with Bloomsbury, her publisher.
Oh,
and
yeah.
a lot of the person's reasoning, yeah, because she didn't like when they posted the announcement, she made her own graphics and posted the announcement about ACOTAR 6. She didn't tag them. She hasn't had anything to do with them. And she, ever since the interview came out where she talked about how bad they pushed her when she was pregnant and like, oh, edit all of these out. We have to have it under
only
a certain
to
thing.
not
like,
use
everybody
it.
got mad.
Didn't they not end up using it?
Yeah, they ended up changing their minds or something. So it was like all that work stressing her out when she was pregnant for nothing. And that's where she got Feyre's. Like all of her trauma, like writing about Feyre's pregnancy was like her dealing with all of that trauma for that. And so everybody is mad at the publisher. And so she hasn't had anything. So this person's theory is that she split ACOTAR 6 and 7. Like she talked about how it's a big book. But the theory is that she split it so that she could fulfill her contracts and get out from underneath them. Because you have a contract for a certain amount of books, with the publisher, like, oh, you have 3 more books left in your contract. And by splitting it, that's 2 extra books that she now has done and published with them, and she can get free and out from underneath them sooner. And as an author, I was like, that's probably, that's like the length, yes, but like splitting them would fulfill her contract faster.
I bet that, yeah. I honestly think that she is like in the middle, like she's going about like a legal battle probably. And I could see that being a thing.
Yeah, for sure. So that was kind of, I had more, but like I can save some of those for other stuff. So that's kind of the ones that I immediately needed your thoughts on and stuff. So
okay, cool. Alrighty, well, let us know what you guys plan to read this summer. If you got any kind of summery, fantasy, contemporary, romancy, whatever, let us know.
Yeah. And if you got any other books that you want us to talk about, or bookish news, or books that you're interested in having us try out, let us know too.
So. Definitely. Alrighty. We'll see y'all later. Bye.
Yep. Bye.